Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from MaliciousCompliance. Story 1 is by Hella Untalented 13. No visible tattoos. Years ago, I worked in the deli section of a grocery store. It was with the kind of people that get a promotion and immediately forget where they came from and have unrealistic expectations of you. I had to slice meat and cheese for customers, make sandwiches, make all the fried foods, wings, fried chicken, potato wedges, etc. When I was hired, I had my sleeves rolled up to just below my elbow and I talked to the hiring manager about my tattoos. It's the name of my kids, so nothing offensive. Anyway, about a year after I'm there, they decide that tattoos and piercings were against dress code. Anyone with piercings had to take them out, and anyone with tattoos had to cover them up. Since my tattoos go down to my wrists, I asked if that was for me as well because I am handling people's food all day, and if my sleeves get dirty, I don't want it near someone's sandwich or something. They scoffed at me and told me that I should have thought about future employment when getting my tattoos. So I figured I can't break the rules, so I won't. The next day, as the main boss of the store was walking around, I had my sleeves down to my wrists, but I was making fried chicken, so my shirt was soaked in chicken blood all the way up to my elbows. We had to cook 3 boxes every morning, about 150 pounds of chicken, and I was halfway through the 3rd box. When they yelled at me to stop what I was doing, I just innocently asked, "What's wrong? Can you see my tattoo?" They didn't answer me. One just stared, mouth agape, and the other looked like he was trying to set me on fire with his mind. So I said, "Well, if there's nothing else, I'm almost done here, and I'll start making sandwiches." They told me to go ahead and go home for the day. They tried to fire me, but since it was documented that I asked about long sleeves being unsanitary and was basically told, "Sucks to suck," they can't fire me for following the rules they set in place. So they tried to start cutting my hours, so I said, very publicly again, that it felt like retaliation for the sleeves thing. So I said I would need to speak with a lawyer. I couldn't afford one, but they didn't know that. And finally, a month later, they told me I was allowed to have my sleeves rolled up while working behind the counter. To which I responded, "I actually found another job. I've been there for 2 weeks. Have the day your employees think you deserve." I don't know, I wouldn't wish the day employees think the boss deserves on anyone. That could be a really, really bad day. Down in the comments was an amusing little exchange that I have to share. By Eat More Artichokes, we had a manager at the grocery store I worked at who was an unnecessary stickler. To his credit, though, when I pointed out the employee handbook said mustaches were forbidden, he shaved his off. The guy with the tattoos was fine. No rules about that, fortunately. Spice Woman replied and said, "So, could the manager have tattooed his mustache back on?" Eat More Artichokes replied and said, "He had blonde hair, so it would have been tricky, but that's some big brain thinking right there." I can promise you if somebody came in with a mustache tattooed on their face, they'd change the rule and make it so tattoos aren't allowed either. Our next story is by Squidlyman 150. I don't want to distract my classmates. There was a girl at my high school who wasn't in my grade, but in one of the same classes I took. She had some type of cancer or tumor. I don't know the specifics, but had to have a couple brain surgeries, leaving giant scars all over her head. She lost her hair from the medications as well. She just wanted to experience high school like everyone else when she felt well enough to go. I remember her being so excited after wig shopping one weekend. The next Monday, walked into homeroom with some big, bright Dolly Parton hair. She looked awesome. You could tell she felt so good, too. Which is what mattered to us. This was a doable hairstyle if you had a couple hours and a lot of patience. The teacher wasn't having it. She tried to explain, we all tried to explain as much as possible without getting into her business. The teacher wouldn't listen and demanded she take it off, not hearing us all try to explain the cancer situation. We were all mad for her. She just smiled, took it off, and sat back ready for class. The look on the teacher's face. I think she said something along the lines of, I don't want to distract my classmates with my new hair. I'm sorry. The teacher couldn't focus, just kept losing her place and staring at her, the giant, bright red scarves. Wig or not, we thought she was beautiful anyway. Many of us went to the principal before the bell even rang. The teacher had to apologize and said she was exempt from the rule. What rule? We never found out. She just smiled and said, "But I don't want to distract my classmates," in response. The teacher left after a month. The absurdity of some rules in school is just crazy. Like, there's got to be limits to these rules. Dress appropriately, try not to distract with your hair. It's not like this girl came in with, bright green hair styled into a dinosaur or something. I don't know why she had to have an issue with it. Underneath that in the comments by Krishna Chick. When I was in 3rd grade in Catholic school, a little girl had leukemia. After many absences, she showed up for class wearing a kerchief to cover her balding head. I don't think she was even shaved up. She just had patches of hair and bald spots. The prune-faced teacher, not a nun, made her remove the kerchief, since it wasn't part of the uniform. I felt so bad for her. When I was in high school, I occasionally liked to wear headscarves. Thankfully, they never had a rule about taking them off. Not like a full cover everything hair headscarf, but there's these little triangle shaped ones with a tie that goes down below, and I would put that on and tie it underneath. I think it was a 90s thing because I would never wear that thing now, but if it's not hurting anybody and it's really not distracting people, I think they should just nix the rule. Our last story today is by The Random User 84. Company doesn't allow me to have my phone, so I cost them $100,000 plus. I originally posted this as a comment to a similar story, as I had totally forgot it happened until reading that. The OP suggested I should share it as my own post, so here goes. I have worked in warehouses for years, and a few years back, I was a contractor. Companies would hire us and bring in 20 plus people for a few weeks when they desperately needed help. I was a shift lead, usually the highest person on site, and needed to talk to my boss regularly throughout the day on a company phone. One warehouse had a policy where only managers could have their phone on the floor, and technically I wasn't a manager. Everyone under me was instructed to leave them in their car or a locker. However, I needed mine. One day, I was talking on the phone to my boss, and one of the managers for the company we were working for saw me and demanded I hand him my phone, and I refused. He then threatened to kick me out, so I rounded up all my workers and said we were taking a break. We all go outside, and I tell my boss what happened. He comes to the site instantly and starts talking to their boss and tells them I need my phone on the floor. But since I don't have manager in my title, they refuse. So my boss decided I can't do my job, so nobody under me can do theirs either. The end of the day, the other company is angry we didn't get any work done and decides to cancel our contract, which costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars, because it's written in the contract that they will have to pay to send us home before the original end date. We all still got paid and got 2 weeks off before having to go somewhere else. This could have just been avoided if they just let them use their cell phone. Down in the comments by Soap Coals, I used to work for a company that went the opposite way. In the call center, every agent had the title Resolution Manager. Everyone else was a lead or supervisor. So if you wanted to talk to a manager, you were talking to the employee with the least power in the company. I'd like to see a Karen walk into that place and ask to talk to the manager, and there's like 50 guys that are like, I'm a manager. It's confusing to me to reverse the roles like that. Resolution manager. Because it was a call center, everyone's a resolution manager. It tries to make it so that the people who call them feel like they're talking to somebody who's very important, I guess. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a marvelous day.